Hello, everyone. Welcome to Counsel India Present, the Psychology Talkshow. In this particular talk show, we reveal one of the person who is actually creating difference in the society. We invite one of the guests who really helping people out in the field of psychology. So, with the warm welcome, with the warm wishes, I would like to invite Dr. Nidhi on a particular talk show. So, Dr. Nidhi, welcome.
Hello, Mr. Bobby.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for such a nice introduction. And I really love to be the part of the whole team.
Great, awesome. So, Dr. Nidhi, you have worked a lot. You have done PhD in psychology. You have you have done masters. You have handled so many cases till now. So, we want to know your journey from you only. At how you have landed up into this field. What is your introduction?
My journey of psychology started with my master's. I was a basic, bachelor's student of science only. So I have done my BSc. And during that particular time, this interest in the field of psychology emerged. During my bachelor's only, I got an opportunity to travel a lot, and I realized that people are quite different from each other, and these individual differences and the experiences they were having are creating a lot of impact on their personalities and how they treat each other. So, with this particular interest, I switched my stream from BSc to masters in psychology. I have done my education, higher education from Dehradun itself. I am basically from Uttarakhand, so got opportunity to travel within the state for the education. And after my masters, I got an opportunity to work with special children's. There were certain NGOs with which I was working, and there were certain workshops and seminars were conducted in our college during the process of education. So that made me realize that there are chances to interact with people, and to create a more direct, what do we say, um, to deal with the challenges on the grassroots level, rather than going into the other field and going to change the policy and work along with it. There are chances with the and there are opportunities to work with people on the grassroots level, as well as deal with their problems then and there itself, rather than always talking about policy and changing to
Mhm.
create a change and all. So with this particular system in my mind, I started working with learning disabled children.
Okay.
And with that, it provided me an opportunity to work with certain NGOs, and where I realized these are the people who actually facing a lot because of
Mhm.
two things. First thing, their issues are not very much visible, and second thing, they are still facing the challenges of inclusion from their parental side as well as from their school side. So I completed my PhD in this topic only with the mathematical disability, which is known as dyscalculia.
Okay.
And after that, I got an opportunity to work in the interior areas of Uttarakhand. I have completed my PhD from Central University of Uttarakhand only, HND Garhwal.
Mhm.
It's there in Srinagar.
Mhm.
So if you go into the interior parts of your own country, you will realize that the children are still struggling on getting the basic education. And then comes the children who are getting ample opportunity in the cities, urban areas, etc.
Mhm.
But they are having one thing common, that the parents are still struggling to find better available options for them, so that they can grow and thrive there. But during this particular process, if they get to know that their children is having a special need, the children is having some sort of difficulty,
Mhm.
they will not be able to adjust.
Hmm.
So during this particular time, I also realized one thing, that the parental education is also very, very much important.
Right.
Along with the concept of counselors,
Mhm.
at that time, this particular thing was, I'm talking about 10 years back, 2015. So although government has already passed this particular declaration that every school should have the counselor, but still they are struggling to have one. And this time I realized that policymakers should make sure that the counselor is working with its full capacity and having all the infrastructure which is needed. So, comparative study in urban versus rural areas, etc., etc. So, there is a lot of scope which
Mhm.
is needed to be there. So, this is something which was igniting me while I was working in this area, and that's how I started. And still trying to find out how I can, play my role and my bits into this particular process.
Great, awesome, very nice. So, through your life experiences, you are in this field and you are truly trying to make difference in the society and you're creating that difference. Very
Thank you.
nice, great. Awesome journey, inspiring journey, Dr. Nidhi.
Thank you so much. So after this particular PhD, meanwhile, I got an opportunity to work with one boarding school in Dehradun itself.
Mhm.
So matlab, I was also a learner, although I was with the capacity of a counselor or a teacher. So I also got to know that there are certain things which needed to be covered as a psychologist in future. After that, I started working with Jain University in Bangalore for
Mhm.
more than a year, I would say. So, as an assistant professor, I got an opportunity to interact with more than 200 or 300 students. Psychology was booming at that time. I'm so happy to see the transition. I'm so happy to see that the childrens are opening up and coming forward to take interest in it, and they are doing
Mhm.
wonderful job in that area. And in this particular scenario, I would also highlight the one point which was actually opportunity in disguise. That was COVID.
Mhm.
COVID actually took a toll on all of us. And like I'm sure you all are aware that that was a
Yeah.
very, very difficult phase. And people started facing all those fears, on the surface.
Mhm.
Earlier, they were trying to avoid it. Earlier, they were, trying to hide it. Everything
Mhm.
will be fine, and et cetera, et cetera. But those layers of anxiety and stress, which was boiling underneath, everything became on surface, no. And it came on surface, and people started realizing, okay, that is something which has to be dealt with. You
Mhm.
cannot hide it anymore. And that was the time when I was in Bangalore, and people were started opening up and coming up for more and more support online. This particular thing came into picture and during that particular time. So I would say that it was an opportunity in disguise, especially for psychologists and the people who are working in this area. Counseling helplines are something which is very, very common these days. Now we can contact and we can seek help. So all the people, my students, they are working into so many organization, and they are really doing very well. They have enrolled themselves into some MPhil programs, some PhD, some masters, etc. And now they are working as a first responder into their own regime. So that is something I'm seeing it as a positive change in the social system. So that was one area where I got opportunity to work with. And apart from
Mhm.
that, one more area I have been fortunate to work with is armed forces, and few seminars in Air Force also. And the people who are working with, working in uniform in different locations of the country, and with their families, of course. So how they are managing their issues and how they are making impact in those stressful situations, and trying to work in those difficult scenarios, and how their families health is equally important,
Mhm.
keep them sane as well as to keep them online, right? So that was another different word for me. And I'm really blessed, like from past 5 6 years I'm getting an opportunity to work with them also. And
Mhm.
of course, Counsel India team from last 1.5 year, I'm working with you people, and interacting with so many bright minds, no, those who are actually willing by matlab, while sitting at home they want to learn something new.
Right.
These are the areas, bits and pieces of my whole journey, which is actually impacting me as a psychologist also, that in different areas, different walks of life, people want to make a change with whatever capacities they are working with.
Awesome, awesome. Fantastic. So, differently able children to, school, college, armed forces, in Counsel India. So you're working. Truly, it shows that you are passionate about psychology, and you truly want to create difference, and you are on the same path. Really inspires a lot. The people who are listening, definitely, from your life journey, from your thought process, they're getting inspiration, which is more needed nowadays.
Thank
Awesome.
you so much. Thank you so much.
Great. So, Dr. Nidhi, my question to you is this: can you share any one of the most challenging case you have ever handled in your career, and what made it so complex?
Okay. When I think about the cases which I dealt with, there are two intriguing cases which actually, um, actually changed my thinking process also.
Mhm.
One case was related to child abuse, childhood trauma, I would say, not then abuse. Uh, so during that particular process, when you are growing up, mostly you are not having an idea what is going around. Whatever happening within the family setting, whatever happening in your surrounding, you feel this is normal.
Mhm.
And the parents involved, the family member involved, your siblings are involved into that particular system. So it is an ecosystem for a child.
Mhm.
And whatever is happening during that particular, process of growing up and in that ecosystem, that is something a child considered it is completely normal, regardless of having any sort of idea what he or she is going through. So once that particular child grows out of that particular period, like early childhood and then the whole teenage, which is already a very complex stage, and then they grow out of it, and then they move into young adulthood. They want to create a change, they want to create a mark of themselves, they want to create their own name, they want to grow out whatever system they were having. And once they are settled into their own life, then changes starts happening.
Mhm.
They are out of that particular survival mode now, but
Right.
now they are not sure what is right, what is wrong. They are not sure what they were experiencing was right or not. And once they are into a stable mindset after coming from a survival mindset, then if something triggers them back to those memories, that is something which is unsettling. The whole life which they have created, they have earning so well. They are earning, they have created their own life in a multinational company. They are settled in a metro city. Everything is working so beautifully, but the point is they are still not able to figure out where they stand or where they fall into. If those triggers comes back, because they are not aware that those were the triggers, those were the trauma they are still carrying within their body. And
Right.
those traumatic events and incidents actually, there is a wonderful book called Body Keeps a Score. So if somebody has read it, that is a certain, certain text material you will find where you will see that your body is always holding those memories and try to, carrying it forward. And once that particular trigger, reignite inside your system, then your whole family and whole life shattered. Your family is also clueless what is happening, and you are even not ready to go back and start working on your what do we say, your system, because for you, you were a survivor, you were a fighter, you have done
Mhm.
so well, and now you don't understand what is happening, why it is hitting back to you, and how this thing happened. Because if something is visible, then you can fight. No, if something is
Mhm.
already inside you, then you have no clue. So I was dealing with this situation in multiple cases, and I realized that until or unless children are aware, adults are aware that their body is having some sort of unsettled trauma which they need to heal about, uh, the body can flip out anytime.
Mhm.
Whatever your family is doing for you, whatever you are involved in, that is completely right for you. Like
Right.
as a child, you don't have anything to compare with, and once you grow up into the like later teenage days, then you start comparing yourself to, okay, this is your family system and this is something happening in other family,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
then you have something to compare with.
Then you compare, then you think that
There is,
something wrong was happening to me, and
yeah,
that guilt get created, that memories comes up,
exactly.
that comes
And
up.
this trauma could be like related to anything, like difficult relationships,
Mhm.
severely or traumatically ill parent, or financial issues, relationship issues with either of the parents, or maybe parental pressure, anything. So it comes in variety of forms, but for a child, until or unless they start developing their own critical thinking, for a child it is completely normal, and they become angrier, day by day, and they don't have any idea why they are angry at the first
Mm.
place.
Mm.
Second thing is why this is happening with them as compared to the others, so they start feeling it, this is happening because of them. That particular guilt starts developing and brewing inside ki, okay, I am the faulty one,
Mm.
because circumstances may be related to like that. And if there is a terminally ill parent inside the family, or any member, so you can see that the situation is already grim.
Mm.
They are not having a normalcy in the family system. So for these children especially, because they are dealing with so much, up along with the academic pressure which is already there. We all understand that academically they are having so many expectations that they should do wonders, or they should do well in all the areas. But the point is, they are also dealing with something or the other in the family system, and they are also trying to make sense where
Mm.
they belong, because their self identity is also developing that time, no?
Right.
So counseling during those period is actually needed.
Mm.
That's what I realized.
Right. So then, how did you handle, and how did you process that, and what was the final conclusion?
There were mm, okay. So in those areas, I was dealing like 5 to 6 cases, a little bit similar to each other, and two of them were from one family, and I guess two of them, apart other two, was growing up in a same neighborhood. So the people whom I was dealing with, I already we are aware that we need to keep it confidential. We can't share the case
Right.
and anything, etc. So the point is ki I had to maintain that confidentiality. Also, I couldn't say that I am dealing with your neighbor also.
Mm.
And although they have referred ki, okay, this is something, later on they realized ki, okay, this is something they should discuss with, and everything. But during this particular phase of counseling, first thing comes is that they need to understand their belief systems and their emotions. What they were experiencing during that particular time was completely normal. It was
Okay.
not related, it was not something which was their fault. They need to come out of that particular guilt.
Mm.
Because if somebody died in a family, and they lost their sibling, so that is not something their fault. But yes, it keeps, and it left so many scars on their psyche. And we need to work along with what is their present expectations, what they want, how they feel that their life can improve. And I have, with my particular case, I realized that they all wanted, matlab, they were very bright students, and because of these circumstances they were not able to perform that much. But they had their own aspirations in their mind ki, okay, they wanted their life to turn into certain way. So I started working with their present goals, what they were thinking in their mind. One of them took a particular course which was distant. So they started engaging themselves into those present lectures, etc., etc. And along with it, they started their own platform. One of them opened a particular school for young kids, etc. And other joined an institution which actually she felt that it was her dream job or something. So in that ways, although they were facing so many challenges from family, along with, as they were married later on.
Mm.
So the guy who was working, it was a lot of pressure that during this particular crisis, how you are thinking to open up an institution now. So that was also challenging for him, along with working with a steady job. Because for boys, it is always a pressure that you need to maintain a steady job, along with where you are going to get a proper income for your family. And during this particular time, if you think that you want to invest into a new venture, so it is something which they feel you are going to uh, uh, putting your family life, your stability aside, and doing
Yeah,
it.
risky situation. Yeah.
Exactly. So
Mm.
somehow they started working along with it, and they overcome their fears. In certain situation, I also wanted them to note down, what are the triggers, because triggers don't go away. You need
Mm.
to desensitize it along with the your journey. So the triggers still exist for some of them, but now they are onto a different part of their journey, and they are managing it well. That's what I can say.
Awesome. Awesome. Great. Great. Thank you so much for sharing this.
It is mine.
Great. Yeah. So, have you ever encountered a situation where a traditional therapy technique did not work, and how did you adapt?
Okay, once you are putting it down as a traditional therapy, can I ask what is there in your mind? Like what sort of
Okay.
traditional therapy?
Okay. For example, there's so many. Let's take an example. One hypnotherapy, a cognitive behavior therapy, right? So
Mhm.
generally, what we do, being a counselor and psychologist, we whatever we've read, traditionally the things are coming up, but now things are evolving, right? New thought process, new technology, new kind of different kind of problems are coming up. So
Mhm.
the question was, do you also change the approaches or the same thing you're trying? And what if it doesn't work? What do you do at that time?
We call this sort of therapy eclectic approach,
Okay.
where we try to include many approaches,
Mm-hmm.
uh, whatever is suiting at that particular moment.
Mm-hmm.
So, as you're saying, I have not tried hypnotherapy, although I was a subject in one, but
Okay.
didn't fit well. So, I was more profound, and I was like more comfortable working with CBT.
Mm-hmm.
So later on, when we were dealing with, especially in this online platform, because that was something, I was telling you that people started coming up and trying to, speak up their mind and their difficulties and all. So as we can do so many things in, offline counseling or in offline sessions, but in online, there are certain limitations for us. So during that time, we realized, ki, okay, working with multiple options is much more suitable as compared to just sticking to one thing. And later on, as we started working on it, so we understood that eclectic approach is also working. So
Mm-hmm.
CBT, REBT, and if you feel that humanistic approach may, there are different techniques which you feel, which is suitable for your client, so you can definitely use it. It is not something, as you already mentioned, now we are evolving day by day.
Mm-hmm.
Technology is a very huge part of it, creating a lot of contribution in this process. So definitely we need to use these techniques for the advancement. And one example I can give you, like the traditional approach with learning disabled children. Earlier, there was only techniques which can be which we can apply on paper pencil approach. But
Mm-hmm.
as there are so many softwares are available, which can actually give them a better understanding of the stimulus. So like games are also available through which they will be able to understand what is the concept of image, and how understanding the reverse images and so on. And apart from it, the aptitude test and personality test are also available, online softwares are there. So career counseling can also be done like that. So yes, technology and eclectic approach go hand in hand.
Awesome. Very nice. Great. So my next question is, Dr. Nidhi, how do you personally handle the emotional weight of listening to the traumatic stories day by day?
That is a difficult one, I would say. uh, Initially, I also didn't understood the concept of burnout. This
Mhm.
is something which we uh, I came to realize it very late, I guess, after being in this particular field. After 7 or 8 years, I realized that it takes a toll on you. You
Mm.
start listening, and without venting it out. And that is also a point which we all are aware, that confidentiality also matters, no? So you
Right.
can't discuss openly your cases,
Mm.
uh,
Mm. Mm.
share with anybody. So I realized that instead of piling all those things down, you can create notes. You can create your own, like we ask our clients also, venting out, either
Mm.
journaling, or there are certain other techniques through which they can vent out.
Mhm.
Mirror technique is also one of them, and I would say like creative expression, whatever they feel like. For
Mm.
people, it works like in art therapy and play therapy, all those things, whatever they feel like. So for me, journaling works, and
Mm.
sometimes doodling. So these are my venting out techniques.
Okay, great, great, awesome. And it is, having such kind of activities or approaches in counselor's life is very, very important.
Completely agree.
Yeah. Okay, great. Okay, so have you ever worked with a case that seems hopeless in the beginning, but ended positively?
Mm, Okay, for me, both the things happened. It started hopeless in the beginning and
Mm.
remain hopeless at the till ending. So I
Okay.
had to refer one case, one such case.
Mhm.
And apart from that particular case, yes, one case I would say that initial two session was difficult to
Mhm.
create a rapport
Mhm.
because that particular individual had a very bad experience in the previous counseling, and due to that particular reason he was also a little bit hesitant and not sure, trying to assess me rather than opening up. So
Mm.
during that particular time I thought that rapport building is not going to happen, so I need to refer this particular case again. But the
Mm.
point is, slowly somehow something happened that he started venting it out and everything fall into place.
Mm.
So yes, this particular counseling took a lot of time for me,
Mm.
because of schedule and rescheduling the sessions from his side, sometime my side. But yes, and was good. He was able to started working with his life goal again. And yes, still I would say that that is a craze in progress, not that much successful in his life, but yes, he is still in a better place as we
Mm.
started off.
Okay. And to build the rapport, what is your last Brahmastra? Like when anything doesn't work, then this is something that you try hard to create the rapport.
Okay, I have not done like not a Brahmastra, I would say, but yes,
Mhm.
uh, talking about their, if you allow your client to speak rather than always you giving them direction to speak up and everything, I would say Socratic questioning is something which is very very useful.
Mhm.
Leading your client to spoke about the incident, what they are, if you feel that they are not ready to talk about the particular incident which is bothering them, let him speak whatever they want to and how they want to. And most of the time, once they start judging you and assessing you in their own communication, because they feel they can assess you when
Mhm.
they're communicating with you, they come to assess you first rather than let let you assess them.
Mm.
So during this particular time, try to be I would say harmless. Don't be into a frigid mindset or into that particular defensive mechanism ki, okay, now this individual is judging me although he is also having the trouble and etc etc. But the point is, in this particular time, leading questions with a little bit of understanding and allowing them or giving him space or her space to speak up, speak their mind. Once they are done with all those jittery things, they start falling into the line. That's
Mm.
works with
So having the patience is also very, very important for a counselor.
me. Exactly. And let them feel that they have the control rather than you are only the person who is going to control them.
Right, right. Have you ever encountered with any kind of toughest ethical dilemma you have ever faced in a counseling situation where ethically was something going off the track, but you also need to heal the person, counsel them. So any kind of experience do you have that?
um, this is a common saying in this ethical guidelines: we cannot counsel our own relatives and friends,
Mm.
right? This is a boundary for us. But once you are, this is a question which I was dealing in classes also all the time, that once you are able to see that this individual is going to ruining his or her life, and
Mm.
they are not doing it right, they are already committing something and doing something which is going to be very much difficult for them, you are able to see it, but you cannot pinpoint it. This is something which is very very difficult to hold on to.
Mm.
Somehow you feel that because this individual is related to you and you know this individual from like a long time,
Mm.
so this is a dilemma which I feel very, very difficult with. I try to refer this individual to my friends, family, other colleagues also, but this
Mm.
individual who is in the family, they are not ready to accept it. They feel like, like एक घर के डॉक्टर की घर में कोई इज्जत नहीं होती, वही वाला
Mm.
सीन है कि they feel that they know better and they are dealing with their life issues fine, just fine. So that is something which I'm still figuring out how we can
Mm.
make a balance here.
Mm.
Other than that, not that much ethical
Okay.
issue.
Okay. Great. Great. Thank you for sharing this. So now, how do you decide when to involve family members in client's therapy session, especially in a very sensitive case? How do you decide like now is the time to involve family members?
Okay. So as I was telling you that I started with children's and adolescent, group. During that particular stage, I realized that children are not very comfortable with parents,
Mm-hmm.
right? But as they are minors, so parents has to be involved, no?
Mm.
So for them too, it is something which we cannot go beyond the limits, because it is again we fall under the ethical guidelines. But
Mm.
apart from it, if they are a proper young adult, those who are coming under the legal age where they can take the decisions of their own life by themselves. So for them, if I understand the parents are the one who are creating the problem,
Mm.
and due to which they are the client is not able to vent out, or they are not having the free space. So that time I go into a group counseling, a family counseling, rather than involving the parents directly into it. So I ask them that we need certain sessions related to family therapy also, which is important in this area. So
Mm.
that is how keeping them a little bit in disguise, ki okay, why it is important and everything.
Mm.
So that is how I try to incorporate it, so that they also don't feel that they are having some authority over
Mm.
the children,
Mm.
or the child should also not feel that okay, I'm going to backbite in front of the parents.
Right. So always, in an adult case, you always try to first take the consent from the client that now this is what I'm thinking, and that's why it is important.
Yes, I try to, if I feel that there is no other way around, so I
Mm.
try to represent in a way that, a family session rather than uh, you know, telling them about their ward, or, telling about the parents, etc. So I don't go into that way. See, okay, I need to talk to your parents, etc., etc. I try to have a little bit ecosystem where they feel safe in those areas, and they feel that okay, this is important transition, so that the client should also able to understand ki, okay, parental understanding is also important, so that he should be able to get a space which he feel that it is needed and required.
Mm.
Because I'm sure that you are aware, most of the kids go out after their higher education, and they are working in so many different fields, etc. They tend to cut off with the parents with
Mm.
some reason or the other. But it is important for the parents also to understand that they need a space, but it is not something like they are going to get too much space that they are going to move away from the family, or they
Mm.
should not be aware about what is going on.
Right. Okay, nice. So, in your experience, which mental health issue are the hardest to treat and why?
um Mental health issue, it is not something which I can pinpoint on one. There are few.
Which
So
you feel that, according to me, this is the hardest with your experience?
okay. So, as I was telling you about the childhood trauma, that is
Mhm.
something, because now I'm sure you guys are aware that these days healing your inner child is
Mhm.
something which is so much in, and it is actually very, very important. So,
Mm.
this is something which need to be taken as a priority, healing your inner child. And
Mhm.
apart from it, another important point is issues related with anxiety.
Mhm.
In every family, there is something or the other which ticks them off, and they have their own patterns to deal with it.
Mm.
As a child or as a member of the family, when you are seeing this individual to deal with their issues, you feel that this is completely normal. This is how we should deal with the situation. But once you go out from this system, the family system, and once you move out into a bigger world, and either you get married, right? So you realize that other individual is having a different way of dealing with situations,
Mm-hmm.
and then you are not sure how to deal with it. You are not sure which way is correct. You
Mm-hmm.
start blaming each other because you are not even aware that this individual has learned something different way to react with the situation, and I have learned something very different to deal with it. For you this is normal, for her or him is this is normal. So now you see that from the particular system you have learned certain things which is normal for you, but once you are moving into a different system, you are able to see that this individual is dealing with the situation entirely different, right? So you start clashing with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have not identified those things by now, you will be passing them on to your next generation.
Mm-hmm.
So this is something which, as an individual, we need to understand what are those anxiety patterns within the family system which you have seen, which you are experiencing now, and how you are going to deal with it for your future generation.
Mm-hmm.
So this
Right.
is something which is important.
Very nice. And Dr. Nidhi, nowadays, especially for the youngsters, it is there's a dilemma in their mind, right? Well, because mental health matters and it is highlighted nowadays. People are talking about mental health quite a lot. So now there is a dilemma in youngsters, like at the home, if they're not getting that good atmosphere, so they start thinking that this is not the right place. This is ruining my mental health. I should go out. I should not stay here. So for those people who are watching, the youngsters, so what advice would you like to give? How they should decide this thing? What matters here? How to take decision in this situation?
Okay. So as you are saying young people, so I'm sure that these people are more above, 13, 18 years, I would say, young
Yes,
adults.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
So once you are able to see that something which is not working for you in the, environment where you are staying, it happens with everyone, I'm sure. All the youngsters, like I also experienced it, and I'm sure all of us has experienced it at some
Right.
point, that something is very, very wrong with the family.
Yeah, I have also experienced it.
Right? Something is very,
Yes.
very wrong with the family, and the ultimate solution is if we go out, right?
Mm,
But after going out and you realize that your family has given you certain skill set to deal with those situations, and which you didn't realize at that time. So once you are into the verge of identifying ki, okay, there is something very, very wrong going on within the family system, always figure out how you are going to tackle it if you will going to encounter the same scenario outside also.
mm,
This is something,
right.
grass is always greener on the other side. That is our
Mm,
also, we
mm,
this is a kind of, very common philosophy for all of
right.
us. Grass is always greener on the other side. So we feel that once we are going out, everything is going to be sorted. And for most of the people, they don't even realize why they were running from at the first place.
Mm,
So this is a situation where we are actually trying to run off.
mm,
I also accept and agree on my part that that particular time I just wanted to go out and I wanted to avoid those situations, difficult situation which I had to deal with.
mm,
But avoiding them will not gonna help you until or unless you start learning to resolve those issues. Somehow your life has very funny ways to present those repetitive situation again and again in front of you until or unless you learn how to deal with it.
right, right. True, true.
So instead of avoiding it,
Mm,
start resolving it. Take it as a challenge rather than as your life problem, the grave scenario of your life. Start
mm,
taking it as a challenge and try to understand and learn those skill set which help you to avoid it. Oh, sorry, resolve it.
resolve.
I have found it like life has its own mysterious ways of presenting the same problem in different envelopes in front of you until or unless you learn those things, how to resolve it. For that particular movement, you can go out and cool off and then come back, but you need to work upon it.
Mm,
This
right.
is because I have seen in my experiences also, like a son was having complexes with the father because he was very authoritative, or mother who was very authoritative, dominating, etc., etc., or maybe a elder brother, elder sister, something. So he felt that going out is the only solution. So once he
Mhm.
moved out and he started working in a wonderful company, earning very nicely, etc. But he started encountering those same problem with the boss again.
Mm.
Whoever was there as a managerial, working. So he changed and switched the job. Again, he encountered the same situation with the, somebody else. So that particular individual who is having authority, you start having, or you develop certain kind of skill set, which you feel like, somebody who is authoritative on you, they are having undue advantage over you.
Mm.
So if you resolve it, so maybe you know how to deal with those situation in, future.
Okay, great. Awesome. So, what advice would you like to give to the young psychologist about handling the difficult cases? What advice would you like to give?
Okay. So as you know that, these days there are so many laws changing in the field of psychology, how we can work, what is the ethical guidelines for all of us, and, all the areas. So first and foremost thing is you need to understand what are the ethical guidelines for your profession, because earlier, not I'm not saying our generation or, our uh, field, but the previous generation has done a lot of damage already, because there were no written or clear guidelines. Still we are working in the country to have a better guideline, especially for counseling psychologists as
Mm.
compared to the clinical ones. You need to understand the difference. And once you feel that you have learned your ways, then I would request all of you to please work under some supervision first. Having a better guidance over you, you can learn so much into a practical scenario as compared to the theoretical, understanding. So once you are into it, try to ask as many questions, try to learn, the different ways, and try to be with the people where you feel that you can apply your skills with,
Mm.
and then go properly with confidence. And always make sure that you are not, if you are not comfortable working with a particular case, please refer.
Mm.
Saying no, there is no harm, into this particular
Right.
thing initially, rather than, doing experiments on it.
Mm.
So
Right.
don't do experiments, always take a supervision. And if you feel that some case is very difficult for you and you are not able to understand how you are going to about it, please take a referral, or just refer this individual to somebody.
Okay. Okay. Great. And have mentor, have take guidance from your seniors, and you can also learn to say no. This is your advice to young
Ex-
psychologists, counselors.
you have
Okay.
you have summarized it very precisely, I would say. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you. So this is the last round. It is called the rapid fire round of this session. So as quickly as you can, you just answer whatever comes first in your mind. So
Yeah.
here we go. My first question is, what is the first word that comes to your mind when you hear the word mental health?
Positivity.
Great. One habit you think everyone should build from today?
Life skill management.
Life skill management. Okay. Can love really heal?
No.
No.
I would say if you heal yourself first,
Hmm.
then only love can be therapeutic. Otherwise, if you are going as a victim or as a patient and somebody else is also a patient, then it would be challenging.
Love will
Would
not
be
heal there.
no, not at all.
Okay.
It will gonna do more harm than healing.
Okay. Okay. What's your guilty pleasure when you need a break? Your guilty pleasure when you need a break.
Binge watching.
Okay. One myth about counseling you want to break forever.
It is not a quick fix.
Okay.
Counseling is not something which you just go and you will going to find all the solution of your problem. No, you have to work for it.
Okay. It's not magic.
Quick fix. Yeah,
Yeah.
no.
If stress were a person, what would you say to it?
Chill out.
Okay.
Chill out.
What is the most powerful tool in therapy according to you?
Open communication.
Okay. Do you believe people can truly change?
Yes.
Okay. One thing you never forget to do for yourself every day.
Realize that okay, there is still a hope in this world. All the grimly situations going around, there is
Mm.
a still hope. Things can get better. That's
Yeah.
what I tend to believe.
Okay. Great. So if you had to describe happiness in one sentence, what would it be?
Being yourself, I guess.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. My questions are done for today. Thank you so much. It was a lovely conversation with you. Thank you for enlightening us for with your experience, your knowledge in this session. Thank you so much.
Pleasure is completely mine, Mr. Bobby. And I'm sure that, this particular platform will gonna inspire so many, people around, youngsters especially, that they can do so many things within their own system rather than always running away from, their own problems. And those parents who are listening to this particular podcast, I would request all of you that try to debunk your own myth before moving ahead in your own journey, and rather than imposing them just mindlessly upon the future generation, try to debunk your own and settle your own problems first, then move
Mhm.
ahead. That's what my message would be. And thank you so much for having me here. It was really wonderful time. I don't know how this particular hour has been passed up, but yes, it was really enlightening and entertaining for me also to
Okay. Great. Thank you so much for saying this. Definitely. Once again, we would love to have you on a different topic.
much. Pleasure
Great.
is all.
Thank you so much. Take care. Bye bye. And thank you everyone for listening this. Thank you.